This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back to the show. We are honored to be here with Jane K Coaching. Dr. Jane Kennard joining us live today, and we're going to talk more about the work she's doing, how she's helping so many women become anxiety free. We're going to talk about those one-on-one coaching sessions, and of course, get to know her, her background, and of course, what brought her here. So first and foremost, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you and excited that you're joining us and you're helping so many women. I want to hear all about it. Before
Okay.
we begin, just a little bit of your background. Where are you located? And tell me a little bit about your family, if you don't mind.
Okay. I live in Wiley, Texas. We've been here 2 years. We relocated from Ohio. I'm a Northerner at heart. I'm a Canadian. And so I was raised in the prairies in southern Manitoba, but with marrying and having a family, we moved to Ohio to teach. And then now we're in Texas because our family is here with grandsons, two grandsons.
And a
Yes,
dog named
love it.
Toby, I read.
That's right. And a dog named Toby. He's a Bichon Poodle mix, and I'm his mama for sure.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. Pleasure having you here. And I'm excited to get started and to learn, obviously, more about you. And I think our listeners really will benefit from the work that you're doing. Just a little bit of your background. Could you share that? What brought you here to help people with your anxiety and their anxieties, should I say?
It really grew out of my own anxiety experiences. Okay, I was a university professor. I've been an associate pastor.
Wow.
But when this serious legal dilemma happened in our family, I was a mess. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep.
Hmm.
I was nervous. My mind was constantly occupied by all the what ifs and the worst scenarios. And in the end, when things kind of cooled down, I said to myself, I refuse to live like this. Life is
Yeah.
unpredictable. Things like this are going to happen again.
Yeah.
I just don't want to live this way. So I made that critical decision and got help for myself through a therapist and with support and help and understanding what was going on with me, some of my triggers, my gremlins, you could say,
Mm-hmm.
and having strategies for dealing with anxiety. My tendency towards debilitating anxiety really was reduced. And so I know what to do when I start feeling anxious. And I want that for other women too. Because I know I talk to them quite often because I've got quite a
Yeah.
bit of experience relationally with college students, with other women in places that I go and meet people. I know there's anxiety out there, and I would love to help people with that.
Ah, wow. And by the way, I just have to mention, since the pandemic, I feel like so many people talk about anxiety and stress more, and like the word anxiety just became like everyone has it. Everyone's more, and with the pandemic, it made us feel that we're not so alone anymore because everyone was suffering with this, which I feel like back in the day, it was a little bit more of a quiet thing. You didn't want to tell people, it was uncomfortable,
Yes,
and it gave you anxiety just to talk about anxiety, right?
you're right. Yes, there's a
Well,
lot of truth in that.
yeah.
Just to admit it is part of the process for sure.
hmm Well, let's break it down. What does anxiety in women look like? And do women or men tend to be more anxious?
Um, I believe that women tend to be more anxious.
Okay.
I've read that in the research that women are more anxious, and maybe older adults in general are experiencing anxiety about a whole number of things. And what do we experience? Well, I've already said that my experience was lack of appetite, couldn't sleep, I was nervous, I couldn't focus, I was distracted. Um, I was had what would you call all or nothing thinking. I was obsessed as a thinker. I was hopeless. Like, when is this ever going to end? What's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Although every woman's situation is different, and that's part of what I do. I listen very carefully to what's going on in their situation and try to figure out a little bit about, with their help, what the fears are that trigger all this anxiety.
Wow. And I believe women are more anxious too, by nature, by every woman. Yeah, compared to men, I feel like I don't know if it's a genetic thing, but
I
let's
know.
talk a little bit about this because, we are coping with so much, right? As mothers, a lot of working mothers, there's a lot. And people go through this, am I going crazy? What's wrong with me, right? Could you
Exactly.
talk maybe about some of the things that can prompt this anxiety in women in particular?
Well, I think when you get into maybe retirement years and you're facing retirement, what am I going to do? What's going to happen to me? That's a huge transition. And there are a lot of what ifs and unknowns about it, or illnesses. I've talked with women who are facing all kinds of treatments about serious illnesses and how do we cope again with those unknowns.
Yeah.
Or just taking on big, big projects, coping with paperwork, figuring out insurance and Social Security and all those kind of things that also come with retirement. But it's not just retirement, it's family relationships. What's going on with your grandkids, or you're worrying about something going on with a son or a daughter or a sister or a brother, and maybe they live at a distance and maybe they're not communicating. So relationships are a big part of our anxiety as well.
Got it. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, let's move on down the list and talk a little bit more about what women really want.
What do we want when we feel so anxious? Well, I just want to feel calmer and I want to be able to sleep, at least sleep a lot better. I want to be able to enjoy a meal and not
Mm-hmm.
be distracted with these outrageous thoughts that are plaguing me all the time. I want to have a clearer head because I've probably got decisions to make. So I want to be thinking more clearly. I don't want my mind to be in a fog all the time with these kinds of worries that I'm dealing with. So I just want to settle down, be calmer, have a restful spirit within me, feel more, let's say, in control of what's going on in my life. Yeah, and that would come with thinking more clearly and critically and about what's going on.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. All right. And also, if you are just tuning in, we are excited to be talking here to our amazing coach, Jane K. Coaching. Dr. Jane Kennard joining us, talking about the work she's doing to help you women out there listening today about our anxiety. And again, we're going to start off now by talking a little about the way you help people manage this anxiety.
Okay. Um, let's talk about three pieces of it, or the beginning three steps, we could say. I think the first one is, we could just call it awareness. It's a surprise to some women that thoughts are just thoughts. Can I be aware of what I'm thinking? Thoughts are just thoughts, and I don't have to believe everything that my mind tells me. Wow, that's a revelation. At least it was for me. I don't have to believe everything my mind tells me. And to be aware of those thoughts, what's my mind telling me? And then to think a bit about and reflect on, where are they coming from? where are these thoughts coming from? Maybe from things I learned as a child, maybe from experiences along the way in my life. So if I can name the fears, fears are a big one. What are the fears that are driving this anxiety? And then I need to just pause, just stop, maybe write down these fears. That would be huge. Be intentional about your awareness of what's going on.
Got
That
it.
would be number one.
Okay.
Awareness is huge. Is it asking myself, is it the situation, or is it what my mind, my brain is telling me about it? And to examine what my mind is telling me about this situation or these fears, these things that I'm worried about. The second one would be acceptance. Okay, I've named these fears or these thoughts that are anxious thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
They're negative thoughts. So I'm like, okay, here's what I'm afraid of. Here's my worry. Here's my anxiety. And I'm just going to accept it. Okay, acknowledge it. I am anxious. I am fearful. I am restless. I am thinking of the worst case scenarios. There's usually a difference between what I want it to be and what it really is. That
Yeah.
gap causes us quite a bit of worry and anxiety. So often this worry rises up not from reality, but from things in the past, anything, the news, things that have happened to us before, things our friends have told us or observed in us, but to just accept it, be
Yeah.
aware of it, then accept it. Okay, I am anxious. I am fearful.
Yeah.
So then when you're saying, okay, this is what's going on, this, and I accept it. I don't like it, but it is what it is. Then number three, I'm at the point of realizing that I have a choice. Do I want to keep worrying and being restless and thinking through all the worst case scenarios? Or do I want to change my thinking and feel better? Because that's where the key is.
Yeah.
To remember, I always have a choice.
Good.
And you think about what you can
Mm-hmm.
control.
Yep.
And you might ask yourself, who do I want to be in this moment or this morning or this afternoon? Who do I want to be? Do I want to be this worried, anxious, hopeless person?
Yep.
Or do I want to be a more positive, optimistic person? And to do that, you change your thoughts.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable. Okay, I can change my thoughts. That realization is important. Now, it doesn't often necessarily happen instantly, but doing it, repeating it, working at it,
Mm-hmm.
being aware of the negative and then changing it, we call it reframing sometimes. Reframing my thoughts from the negative downward, sometimes called catabolic thinking, to something that's more positive, uplifting, energizing,
Yep.
which we could call anabolic energy.
Beautiful. Got it. Well, this is beautiful work. We're going to dive into further details, and I want to also hear, some stories of the women that you've been helping, because it's always great to hear, real life, in a sense, testimonials of the work you're
Got
doing.
it?
So awareness, acceptance,
Yes.
choosing your thoughts.
Yes.
Ah, amazing.
That's hard work,
Mm-hmm.
especially to practice it over and over till the awareness becomes sort of automatic.
Yep.
And most of us need some support to
Yep.
do this over a period of time,
Got
to
it.
learn the strategies, realize what's happening, and put a stop to it. You might say, stop anxiety in its tracks and make the transition.
Got it. All right. So, again, we talked a little bit about how you got started as an anxiety coach, and just any more insight to that, because you really have a strong desire, and the fact that, to help these women because you've lived it. It's like you're very,
Yeah.
you're empathic. You are, empathetic to this. And a lot of coaches, may specialize in coaching, but have never been through what they're coaching. You really have done both, which makes you, I think, clearly unique that you're able to do this because you helped manage your own anxiety and get over that. And really, I'm sure your story does inspire so many of these women you're helping.
Well, that's my mission and my hope. And let me clarify this. That experience several, maybe 10 years ago, was kind of the big catalyst for me to do something about this in my life. But it's sort of an ongoing, it's a lifestyle that one
Mm-hmm.
develops because there's always things that pop up, whether it's a worry about your grandchildren
Yeah.
or about finances, what's
Uh,
happening with our investments, or what's happening with taxes or Social Security. There's always little funny things that happen that trigger anxiety and worry. So it's an
yeah.
ongoing journey of even, and you might say smaller things, so to speak, to deal with them and calm yourself down, manage your thought life. It's all about thought life, actually. So, and you asked about a testimony of someone.
Yeah, I would love to hear about some of the women you're working with and how you've helped change them and overcome, whatever anxiety they had. I would love to hear.
Okay. Um, I'm speaking with a woman who is very experienced. She's a professional. And she's in her retirement years, but she is still working and very active.
Mm-hmm.
And she's making a big transition in her work life. And we've talked several years ago, and she basically got the idea of reframing thoughts and identifying the negative and reframing to the positive and being aware of
Mm-hmm.
that. Well, recently she's got this big project going on. So we connected again, and I'm just supporting her as she, what would we say, while she lives the process of awareness, acceptance, and changing her thoughts. Because this whole project could really get out of control and cause her sleepless nights and worry out the gazoo, So I'm just supporting her. It's already made, she knows what to do because of our previous work. And now she's renewing
Yeah.
that and practicing what she learned before in this situation that could go very negative. But she's really coming along great as my partner. I'm partnering with her, really. That's how I see my role. And so it's helping her. It's changing her way of thinking and her
Mm-hmm.
attitudes, her energy
Yeah.
about doing this big project.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. Do you want to share any more or want to continue through our notes first? Whatever order you want to go in.
Okay, let me think about this a minute. I've had several clients who are facing illnesses and the fear of those unknowns. And talking through the fears of those illnesses and asking questions like, what really am I afraid of? We blow up the scenarios, the worst case scenarios. Well, okay, how likely is
Hmm.
that worst case scenario in reality? How true is this?
Yeah.
Okay, so you try to bring some doses of reality, have the person kind of sift through all of that,
Hmm.
and get more realistic and kind of pop the balloon of all these bad scenarios and the worst case scenarios, and like, okay, there's some relief in just thinking about, well, how true is that really?
Yeah.
How true is that really? And then with support of some strategies and tools to manage anxiety, it helps cope and live through the process these treatments that are often involved in these illnesses that aren't cured overnight. There's what illness is
Yeah.
cured overnight, but it's always a process, right? With
Mm-hmm.
medication or treatments. So a lot of support is needed to help women get through those things.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Relationships is also a big thing.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. All right. Well, also, reading your notes, there's still so much more to talk about with this work you're doing, and would love to hear, some more inspirational thoughts about, managing anxiety.
One that I use quite a bit is what I resist persists. What I resist persists. So if
Okay.
I keep on resisting, oh, I shouldn't feel this way. If I keep resisting my anxiety, oh, what's wrong with me? This is awful. I should be doing something different. What, again, am
Yeah.
I going crazy? What's wrong with me? I keep resisting my worry, my anxiety, those thoughts. They're going to keep happening. They
Yeah.
persist. They will keep growing and become more and more. So to acknowledge, yeah, this is what's happening. I'm anxious because of this, and this. It tends to deflate the anxiety. To realize that if I keep resisting and say how bad I am for even
Yeah.
thinking this way, well, obviously it affects my self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no good. What's going on? Poor me. That then we start getting down into the victim level, which
Oh
is
yeah.
level one of energy. Then I just sit on the couch and I worry and I don't do anything about it. I don't take any initiative, etc. So what I resist persists. Um, just remember, it's all about your thought life. And that to some women is a real revelation. You mean I can do something about my thoughts? I don't have to believe everything my mind tells me. And to own the idea that I'm the only person doing this to me.
Yeah.
I'm the one worrying about that. I'm the one that has all these maybe assumptions or the way I'm interpreting this situation, my faulty beliefs, my limiting beliefs, let's put it that way, about this situation. So it really is all about me. And that's hard for me to admit and understand that I do have responsibility for my well-being, my thought life, and how I'm feeling about things. That doesn't mean that it's not difficult.
Mm.
That's where the support of a coach comes in and of friends and other people to support you.
Oh my goodness. Amazing. Well, this is beautiful work you're doing, and you're helping so many, again, women out there with this anxiety. And, we really want people to reach out, right? And you're doing this through Zoom, okay? So most of your
Right.
clients are Zoom or some in person. And how long are the sessions? And like, how does it work to work with you, if you don't mind sharing?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we do 1 hour sessions on Zoom, and I have a website where women or people could go to schedule a free 30-minute consultation. My website address is just lowercase Jane K Coaching, all one word, .com. And you can also listen to a free 10-minute video there where I go through these steps. Now, those steps build on, or are, what I've shared today is incorporated in those 3 steps that I share in the video. So I would encourage everyone, if they're interested, to go back to my
Yeah.
website and check out that video and also schedule a consultation, which is all free. Thank you.
Beautiful. And how can we reach out to you? What is the website?
You would actually go to https:// Jane K Coaching, all one word, lowercase, .com.
Beautiful. And again, your invitation to book this 30-minute consultation, go to the website and you can listen to that 10-minute video of how to become anxiety-free. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing, and hopefully we will get to connect again and talk more.
I'd love to.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. You have
Thank
a
you. And all the
fantastic
best to
day.
listeners. Yes.
Thank you. Same here. Best to you as well. Bye-bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.